when you look at the nature of your suffering psychologically, the self is really the string upon which all of these negative states, mental states, are strung. I mean,
Yeah, but I think a lot of people listening to this might feel like, I'm not suffering. What are you talking about? I'm not. No, there are no crows pecking out my innards. I'm fine.
Yeah, and so those people are difficult to reach with an argument that suggests that if you'd only look more closely at your life, you would discover that you're moved in each moment by a sense of dissatisfaction that may in fact be unacknowledged, right? That's like you're just moving on to the next thing, but there's a stress in your life that is motivating more or less everything you do. Your life has the character of a kind of long emergency, and yet there are people who are happy enough or lucky enough or positive enough that if you ask them, well, are you stressed out? Are you moved by a profound sense of dissatisfaction? Are you overlooking the present moment, kind of compulsively trying to get on to the next thing, even if in the present moment is full of the thing you thought you wanted a moment ago? A lot of what spiritual life is, or and contemplative practice is a kind of training for the bad times, right? So you're kind of getting ready for the worst day of your life, right? And the worst day of your life is coming, right? If it hasn't happened already, it will happen eventually, right? And now you're with any luck, your bad times will not be as bad as humanly possible, right? It's possible to have, just an unendurably bad life, right? And we're all hoping we get luckier than that, but. And if you have the free time to listen to this podcast, you probably are luckier than that. But there's just no telling what's going to happen to any of us in the future. And in the future, as in the present, your mind is all you have, right? Your mind, your ability to be happy or be at peace in the midst of what is happening is whatever it is in this moment. And if it's untested in this moment because you have everything you want and you're comfortable, well, then you don't really know what tools you have to work with when the wheels start coming off. And people who have thought a lot about this have discovered that there are some tools that are worth having in hand. And when you become sensitive to how it is you suffer, there's not a lot going on there. They're not novel processes. It's just whenever you're suffering, really suffering, you are lost in thought. I mean, you are thinking, and these blows are meted out by your own mind on itself through this automaticity of just thinking without knowing that you're thinking. So the next thought arises, and it seems to be you. It seems to be what you are, and you feel that you're the thinker of your thoughts. And this is kind of paradoxical. You think that you think you're the author. The thought just arises, right, from who knows where. You certainly don't see it arise, and you certainly don't author it. But being identified with it carries with it the felt sense that you are the thinker. It seems to create a thinker that is separate from the thoughts. The sense of self is a product of not seeing a thought as a thought arising in a larger condition of consciousness or the mind. And meditation training is a way of recognizing the prior condition in which thoughts and sensations and everything else arises. And at a certain point, you can notice thoughts themselves arise and not be any more identified with the voice in your head than you are with my voice. I mean, so I'm in understanding what I'm saying now. Just notice here. So if you're a speaker of English, you are through no intention of your own, helplessly decoding the sounds I'm making now and understanding them, right? So these, like, you can't, it's interesting to consider. I mean, you have absolutely no free will here. It's like you can't decide not to understand what I'm saying. I mean, that's just the word, the sound is coming in and it's meaningful to you. If you don't understand something I said, well, then you don't understand it through no free will of your own. I mean, you can't. This is being imposed on your mind, one way or the other, and your own thoughts are just like this. They just arise, right? And you don't actually know what you will think next any more than you know what I'm going to say next, right? It's just, it feels like you in a way that my voice doesn't feel like you, but it is, if you pay attention, fundamentally just as surprising, it's just as novel, it's just as ungoverned by you. You're not choosing it. You can't. To choose what you think would require that you think it before you think it, right? I mean, how can you? I mean, there's a simple way to demonstrate this. So,
but can't you? I'm sorry to interrupt, but can't you direct your thoughts? Can't you say, okay, I'm going to sit down and think about pastrami sandwiches now?
Yeah, but where did pastrami sandwiches come from? What meditation is a way of having that experience on demand, regardless of what's happening, right? So, and even in the midst of technically unpleasant experience. So, I mean, there's a kind of equalizing function here where meditation can equalize pleasant and unpleasant experiences, because you realize that the thing that is aware of pleasure is the same thing that's aware of pain, or joy and sadness,
and it's not a thing.
It's not a thing. It's just, and if you keep falling back into that position of just being the space in which these experiences arise, well, then that distance between, it just so happens, this is just kind of a happy accident, that being concentrated, which is really the opposite of being distracted by thought, has a kind of intrinsic pleasantness to it. And one of the things we like about flow experiences is this concentration of mind. And because when you look at, it's kind of strange that many of these things that are so satisfying when we're in the zone are satisfying at all. I mean, what is satisfying about, what should be satisfying about any of these athletic experiences, say? So shooting a basketball, right? Like if you just feel like you're completely at one with this experience of grabbing the ball, jumping, shooting, dribbling. I mean, this is totally arbitrary. I mean, what could be possibly pleasant about any of that, right? But being in the zone for that is incredibly pleasant. The more you can fall back into this recognition that there's no center to this experience, it suddenly gives you a direct experience of equanimity in the midst of other, even classically unpleasant experiences, right? So you can be feeling significant physical pain, or you can be feeling nausea, or you can feel something that is. I'm not saying there's no reason to act on bad perceptions. I mean, you might have to go to the hospital, but the question is, how unhappy do you have to be at every step along the way as you're riding to the hospital, or dealing with the uncertainty of what the diagnosis is, or what? Like there's this adventure that happens at the level of concepts and at the level of changes, which you can keep punctuating with a recognition of selflessness, and each recognition does actually reset you to a place of real tranquility in the midst of it. And it's a tranquility that is not dependent on any changes. It's not dependent on the next good thing happening. It's not dependent on the bad thing that's present going away. It really is. It really does, in a very paradoxical way, tend to equalize experience. Right. So the conventional sense is you're having an experience, right? There's you, the subject, the ego, the self. And it's important to specify what that is for most people, because it's not, I'm not saying that people are illusions. I'm not saying that you don't have a body. I'm saying, but people don't feel identical to their bodies. They feel like they're subjects that have bodies. I mean, they feel like passengers in their bodies for the most part. And you feel like you're in a relationship to your body. When your body malfunctions, when you have a pain that you don't want, or you have some symptom of something that worries, some possible disease that worries you, you're a prisoner of the body, but you're an inner subject. You're a kind of homunculus with respect to your presumed sense of what you are, from the first person side. Now we know that makes no sense neurologically, right? I mean, you're either the whole body, or your whole central nervous system, if you want to demarcate it in some way, or you're just the part of your central nervous system that is conscious, right? Wherever consciousness stops in the body, well, then that's the boundary of what you are. But most people feel like they're a subject, very likely in their head, that is, in some sense, unchanging, right? Like it's not that you notice changes, but you're noticing those changes from the point of view of being this subject that's not reducible to those changes, right? Like you feel like I was tired a moment ago, but now I'm not tired. But then you notice the change. There's fatigue, and now that fatigue is gone, but the subject seems somehow untouched by those changes. But the subject does seem, therefore, not identical to experience, right? Like you're having the experience. You're enduring the experience. You're riding around in the middle of the experience. And that's the false point of view that's undercut through meditation. It's not mysterious, from my point of view, it's not mysterious that I'm thinking my thoughts and not thinking your thoughts, right? Because my thoughts, the only place for my thoughts to appear is where they are appearing in this system, this organism that is me, and you've got your own organism over there, which is you. And so the fact that you have your memories and I have my memories is no more mysterious than saying, I just wrote something on my palm, and it's on my palm and not on your palm, right? It's like this is just a physically instantiated thing about this system that is. It's like the pain in my knee is felt in my knee because it's a pain, and there's only one knee in the universe that feels that is giving rise to this particular pain.
Yeah.
And there's only one brain in the universe that is susceptible to those inputs. And so it is with my memories, and so it is with anything else that I might think. But the I part of it, the sense that it's me and mine from the point of view of a subject, that's when it becomes impersonal. That's when it becomes, because consciousness really is just the fact that anything is appearing at all. So in some sense, consciousness for me is the same as is for you, whatever you're conscious of, because consciousness is just the condition in which there is a qualitative character to anything, right? So I just view I view consciousness ultimately as deeply impersonal and in some sense transcendent. I mean, it's transcendent of the feeling of being a locus of consciousness in the head, right? You can get rid of that feeling. You can inspect that feeling such that it disappears, and what you have is a totality of appearances that includes all of your experience. It's not like your experience suddenly changes radically, but there's no center to it. You're not on the edge of it. You're not separate from it. There's just it, right? And that there's a freedom in that, because you're no longer. I mean, the sense of self is a kind of contraction. It's a perpetual mode of reacting to experience. So it is born of this perpetual, I like this, I don't like that, I like this, I don't like that, more, less, and you're constantly gripping the deliverances of your five senses and your mind,